Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Jedi Talk with Brad Hughes, the main host, and I am your co-host, Evan T. Boucher. How are you doing over there, Brad?
I'm doing good. Hello there.
Yeah?
I get
No.
to do your thing.
I said my thing, so you can't.
But I'm stealing it for right now.
All right, I'll allow it.
So if you're wondering, hey, why did Evan talk first instead of Brad? Well, it doesn't really matter who talks first. That's not what this.
Who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
I'm not an egomaniac. This episode is going to be very different, in the sense that we're going to be talking about Star Wars stuff that I really have little to no knowledge about. I have strong opinions.
That's a fact. Definitely a fact.
But no real information really, other than we've kind of talked a little bit about it. But we're going to dive deep. We're also joined by a special guest, family member of yours. We are joined by Austin Boucher. Austin, what's up, brother?
How's it going?
Doing good, man. How's Indiana?
It's all right. I'm actually in Illinois for school right now.
Oh,
but
sweet.
It's practically the same.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the same.
The state's spelled differently.
Can you regale me with tales of fall, because I am so tired. It was 104 degrees today.
So we had the other day, it was like low 40s.
Keep talking.
Then the sun went down.
Keep talking. I'm going to take my pants off. Keep talking.
Please don't. He'll do it too.
Well, the sun went down and the temperature rose to like 66 degrees.
Huh.
And then it was 80 the next day. And then the next day, the sun didn't come out.
That's
and
the
it went
Midwest
back to 40.
I just missed jackets.
Looked like it was going to snow, but didn't. Today's kind of like a nice day. It's like 70, sunny.
God, I'm jealous, dude.
Wow.
I miss 70.
Yeah, same.
So first off, before we get actually talking about what we're going to talk about on the show, I wanted to let everyone know, if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter,
Or myself.
or Evan,
And YouTube also.
or even Austin, anybody that follows him. Austin, you were the one who did those dope ass shoes for my birthday that were 9 months late because of Evan. But thank you. They were.
Hey,
were
if you have
amazing.
beef,
I
take
love
it
them.
out right now while they're late. If you have beef, get it out. Air it
I
out.
thought you said it was your fault.
I don't know whose fault it was.
Oh,
I
well,
don't
you
know.
blamed yourself, which is an admirable thing
That
to do.
is. That's what I do a lot.
I
too
love
often.
them, and if anyone wants to go look and see what they look like, they were hand painted. They were amazing. You did a really really good job doing the logo.
Thank you.
And one thing I thought that was really cool was you made it like a pattern, and so like when the pattern would repeat, you would like cut the letters off like an actual pattern. The detail of it was unreal. You did a friggin' bang up job, and I would like to talk to you after the show if we don't forget about maybe doing some limited edition Jedi Talk sneakers that we could like maybe sell, because I have a pretty big audience now on another project I'm doing who also listen to the podcast. So maybe we'll have to talk about that.
Now, they're on most of
sure.
our social media. They're all over my YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. But Austin, if you want to plug where you can find those shoes, right here's the time to do it. On what Instagram can we find those?
Yeah, so I just have an Instagram page at the moment. I was thinking about making a Twitter and just never got around to it this summer.
Don't worry about it. Just stay on Instagram.
It wouldn't be worth it for that.
Yeah. Twitter's kind of bad anyway. So
It's a cesspool.
but yeah, my shoe Instagram page is A_B_C_shoes.
Love it.
The photo is literally ABCD, like the alphabet.
Love it. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is not just shoes, but we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to your heart, and I think Evan likes it more than he lets on around me, because he knows I dislike it very much for the most part.
That's fair.
We're going to talk about the Clone Wars, and the reason Evan talked before is because him and Austin are going to be the ones that really drive this podcast, this episode, because I don't know too much about what we're going to be talking about. But go ahead, man. Let's get this thing started.
Well, if you've listened to any of our episodes where we've even touched on Clone Wars, you know, kind of organically, I don't know how it really came up. Like, we started harping on like a percentage of episodes that we think are good / must watch in quotation marks. And we actually, I don't know if it's really a thing that most people do. We've counted the episodes. It's out there, but it's 133 episodes.
That's so much TV.
Of the Clone Wars. So they're all 20 minutes-ish long. So think about that. That's how many hours? Like, I'm not going to do the math right now.
That's a lot.
That's more than movies.
60
like,
hours?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just doing 120 episodes, 30 minutes each.
Yeah. So think about that. And in my opinion, I had it at...
That's so much
We've talked about it
content.
before, so this is nothing new from my opinion. 47 out of those 133 I would call good, which is 35%. And I eventually broke that down into 19 out of 133 that I would consider like quotation marks must watch.
Gotcha.
So that boils down to 14.28%. So I just wanted to kind of look at what Austin's point of view is on that. And there's certain episodes that I could list as much watch and we can talk about as much must watch, but just wanted to see what his take is on that.
Yeah, so when you sent me your notes about the show, I immediately sat down on Disney Plus and scrolled through just really the images and then the brief description. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say only 20% of it is bad. And that's like noticeably bad. So anything that has really Jar Jar as the lead, so like Bombad Jedi,
right?
That's not needed. That was catering, I think, a little bit to the younger crowd at the time.
Now that's funny you say that because like when I did the rewatch this past year, I kind of looked at that episode and got excited because I was like, oh, I kind of remember liking this episode. But then I watched it and I was like, yikes, how did I ever like it?
Yeah. So there's some more things mixed out. I don't want to get too much into it right now because we'll get to it. But I also have a weird but okay section.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Rebels needs a weird
like
but okay section too, because Rebels had some weird stuff.
It works for the story, but like it's kind of a weird way to do it.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Rebels does do that too, where just like it gets weird, and most of that weirdness works for that story.
Space whales.
But, yeah, the Purgles. But that's Rebels. So, I don't know. What would you consider like some of your must-watches?
Can I? You said your percentage.
Yes.
Austin said his.
Yes.
I literally, dude, I think about 1% of it is watchable.
That's fair.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the Clone Wars. And to be fair, for people who are new to the show, I haven't really watched the Clone Wars. I've watched highlights and I've watched certain things that you've recommended. The Mortis arc, I think, is really, really silly.
Let's jump into that.
That is my weird but okay.
Okay.
See, it was on Evans like you got to see this, and it was like, I think for me on that one, let's talk about Mortis arc real quick because we're already on it. For me, it was one of those things where I had known what it was about, but it's like it's giving you a physical version of a metaphor that you don't need because you know this already if you've paid attention to any Star Wars content ever. And it's so far out there and so bizarre that it's like it was so not needed, but it's weird because it's so revered by a lot of people as like really good, and I don't know what I'm missing.
So to me, it's in there, I think, also to help set up Anakin's betrayal in his mind of the Jedi Council, because he literally balances the Force, and Obi-Wan experiences that with him along with Ahsoka, and he is shown the future or a possible future, and he's able to fight that temptation. So he proves to himself that he is the chosen one. Yet when he goes back to the council and everything, they still treat him more like a Padawan or a kid. So I think that's really just there to like show like how powerful he is, but also it builds his distrust in the council and even in Obi-Wan.
But see, for me though, that's just kind of redundant because we already know that those things are there already. So that's why it was like it didn't add anything to me. It was just like, oh, good and bad. Well, I know that.
We know that, but I think what he's trying to get at is it like solidifies it in Anakin's mind that he's the GOAT. He's like, okay, I am definitely the best ever. Look at this. And then he goes back to talk to Mace and Ki-Adi-Mundi and all those guys, and they're like, nope, you're not the best. So like, I think it kind of like pisses off Anakin more. I never thought about that side of it. But I think it also is good because of what it ties into. I mean, they bring it back a little bit in Rebels. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it certainly worked out that way. But force healing and life force transferring, it's in the Mortis arc, and it's brought up again in Episode 9, obviously.
That's true. That is very true.
So I don't know if that's intentional.
I'm sure it was. That's not something you can just... There has to be a basis for certain things, right? So that was... But I still stand by the reason they released that Mandalorian episode earlier that week.
With the force healing.
Skywalker was because that was in there.
Yeah.
And they wanted people to get used to the idea. Yeah, I've never really thought about that way either. Of like, okay, yeah, we know because we know the overarching story, but at that point in the story, Anakin is really struggling with, his trust of the Jedi, and I haven't really thought about it that way, and that actually might have made me not hate that explanation right there. It made me not hate it as much now that
I never thought of that. That's a great way to put it. And
that's
also,
why I wanted him on because he knows
Yeah.
things like this, and
Yeah.
he'll illuminate it.
And it also solidifies it to Ahsoka and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
They both see it and they're like, whoa, okay, yeah, this guy is pretty powerful. Like, yeah.
I never thought about it that way. See, this is
And-
why I wanted you on the show, man.
I mean, maybe that's why eventually Obi-Wan changes his mind, because he thinks initially with Qui-Gon that Anakin's not. He's just another useless life form, and then eventually he comes around to Anakin being the chosen one, and then he shifts his mindset to Luke, and Yoda thinks it's not Luke. Yoda actually thinks it's Leia.
Leia, yep, that's in that
So, the
from a
certain point of view
book.
Yeah.
They're doing another one of. You see, they released, I think yesterday or today, an excerpt from each story.
I saw that, yeah.
I haven't read it yet because I'm gonna read
Same.
that book because
Same.
I enjoyed from a certain point of view. I didn't finish it, but I hit like the major ones. Some of them are just so stupid, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the
Like what was it, a Tauntaun, like, keeper or whatever, was one of his stories from a certain point of view.
Oh, and the new one.
Yeah, and the
oh,
new
I didn't.
one.
I didn't even
yeah,
look.
that's
I
gonna
didn't
be
look at it.
yikes. Unless he's drinking fuzzy Tauntauns.
Oh my
but
god, could you imagine if they tie that to Galaxy's Edge somehow?
that'd be nice.
They'll do it.
So Mortis is one of your issues, and I mean it's not like fully resolved, but another thing, and I kind of get it, but I want to see Austin's opinion because he was super into clones. I know as a kid, like the whole clones having different identities and different personalities. How does that work to you, Austin? Because I'm kind of in
It
between,
makes no sense.
and Brad doesn't think it makes sense. So I gotta know. I
It
just
makes
gotta
no
know.
sense.
Yes. So think of it like this. There are actually psychological studies that have been done in our actual real world that they separate twins at birth and they raise them differently and they become different people. They are not alike at all. So if you really think about it, a clone is just a even closer twin. So you have all these different clones who are the same, but they have a bunch of different experiences. They're led by different people, and they're even led by other clones. So if you look at Rex, Rex is more like Anakin. He questions a lot more, and he thinks a lot more for himself. And then if you want to look at Cody, Cody is a lot like Obi-Wan, and he does what he's told, but he does it good. He's doing if you really look even deeper into it, Rex is able to fight off Order 66 because of that.
That's true. He does learn
And
about
Cody-
the inhibitor trips, and he kind of
And
questions. it.
Cody and Rex are very similar and they're very close. However, Cody cannot overcome that urge like Rex was able to. For that split second to give Ahsoka a chance to get away. So it's really, I think, pretty cool that they were able to do that, because they really do show that they're all different people.
See, I think
And that's the best part to me, is the clones are my favorite characters. Like I have like a list right now, Anakin, because he's Anakin. Like that was everybody's favorite character in my age group. But then I literally have Rex, Cody, and clones. Just like any story, when the clones were in the center of it, just made that story so much more better to me.
So, are you excited about the Bad Batch show coming out?
Yes and no. The only thing that I really like about the Bad Batch is that they adopted Echo at the end.
In
But
season
the thing
7,
is,
right?
and that's in season 7, and literally 5 or 6 episodes later, Revenge of the Sith happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get a whole lot of material with the group that I like. It'll be a lot more early on stuff, unless they somehow continue the Bad Batch into the Imperial reign, in which the clones were still a thing.
Were
Which
they?
They could. Yeah, clones got phased
They were
out.
for a long time. Yeah, they
Yeah.
got slowly phased out.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they
So
could.
how many? So were there any stormtroopers like in the original trilogy that were clones, or was that
Most likely not,
okay?
because they did age more accelerated. So like when you're seeing Rex and Rebels, that would be everybody, all the clones, that age. So I doubt they would have anybody that old in the service.
Gotcha.
Now, I mean, there is rumors. I forget the name of it, but there is like an Imperial, like squad of clones that all have very similar to like designs to the Bad Batch. They have the giant guy who's kind of like Wrecker, and they have like the leader who kind of looks like, well, not Tech. Tech wasn't the leader, but who's the leader in the Bad Batch? I don't know if you remember his name. Hunter. And like they have guys that kind of look those designs.
There's a character named Hunter in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, and like it's a comic series that features this like squad that's an Imperial set of troopers, and people are thinking this Bad Batch could transition from the clones to that Imperial squad, but we don't know yet. And if so, I guess that could be cool. It just depends how it's done, because that would give us more insight into the carryover and crossover of clones to stormtroopers, and it could also show how they got phased out, how slowly it took, if they just did it because of old age, if they actually got killed, if Inquisitors killed them because they were useless, who knows? Like, there's like endless possibilities they could do with it. But mentioning like your favorite characters, like mostly the clones, who would you say is your favorite clone?
Rex, for sure.
Okay.
I was really excited about Cody early on because he was like the first clone in the series to have a name. So he got it in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
And also orange is my favorite color.
Right.
So I just immediately was drawn to him due to his aesthetic, and he was like the first one to have an actual name.
Yeah, he really was.
And he's a pretty cool character in the Clone Wars, but just Rex is just so much better because he's just, I think he does a lot more cooler things too. Like, so yeah, I initially had Cody as my favorite, but over time, just Rex grew on me, and Cody didn't really do anything really significant, I feel like, in the Clone Wars, the series. Just Rex is just doing a lot more. Rex is, he discovered who the traitor was early on in the series when a clone was giving out information to the Separatists.
Right.
He also captured Krall, I think. Is it Krall?
Palm
the
Krell.
Four-armed.
Yeah.
Krell,
Krell.
yes.
Yep.
Krell. He captured Krell, who, if you couldn't tell from the couple episodes he was in, he was a complete badass. But Rex somehow captured him, outsmarted him, and, was able to capture a Jedi. And Cody wasn't really doing anything. So, I mean, a little bit is, yes. I think a lot of it is because he's a lot like Anakin, though.
That makes sense.
Because that's who he's with. So, I mean, that's who... It's like his father, more or less. Anakin bestowed his personality and a lot of Rex's traits into Rex. So
that could also explain why he's so close with Ahsoka, because Ahsoka and Anakin were so close. If Rex is a lot like Anakin, they would also be close to Ahsoka.
See, that's my favorite thing about the Clone Wars is the relationship between Anakin and Ahsoka. Now,
Yeah,
I meant to
that's
ask
fair.
you this, Austin, before we got deep into this whole conversation. I'm gonna back up a little bit, and I apologize, but I don't want to forget to ask you these two questions. Do you like the Clone Wars movie?
yes,
Jesus
I just
Christ.
wish...
I don't.
And you hear that sound? That's the sound of people deleting this podcast and turning it off.
Unsubscribe.
I think it came out before they introduced Ahsoka in this, like, the series, so it was kind of weird.
That's true.
Like, they just did it out of order. I think if they did it more in order, it would make a little bit more sense. But the Clone Wars movie came out before the Clone Wars series.
Like a year, right?
Yeah,
Give or take.
So
yeah.
it kind of threw things off, but obviously I haven't watched it. I don't think since it came out, or the couple of years after.
Yeah.
I'm sure looking back on it, it's not as good as I remember, but it hyped me up so much for the series. It made me so excited for the series that I think it did kind of what it was intended to do.
Well, some of that was we didn't think we were getting any more Star Wars.
Yeah,
so we're like,
for
we'll
sure.
take it. And at the time, I agree. I remember watching it in theaters at the Rave at Jefferson Point in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Like, that was a pretty vivid memory I have of all the Star Wars films I've watched. I've seen them all in theaters, and that was like one that sticks out for me. I don't know why.
See, I have that same thought with Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Right? Like, they're not
I remember,
that great. But
I remember all of them, seeing all of them in theaters, but I remember, like, actively thinking when I was watching Revenge of the
Yeah.
Sith, like, this is the last time I'm going to see a Star Wars movie in theaters.
And I rewatched the Clone Wars film probably December maybe of last year.
It's rough.
Since it was out on Disney Plus. But around, I think I started that and then kicked off the rewatch. And I was like, yeah, this is not really my thing. It's not as good as I remember. I'm like, I get it. Like, I see the development from Ahsoka, and I see, like, the storyline of Anakin being shocked he's getting a Padawan and not understanding it. And that also kind of, like, plays into his mindset and how he's, like, pissed off because he's like, okay, I'm not really a master. You guys don't give me that much power, but you're giving me a Padawan. So, like, I can see that stuff.
And then he gets put onto the council and is still not a master. So.
Yeah, he has every responsibility
That's
of a master.
the weirdest
but just
thing
not a
that
master.
George Lucas did in the prequels to me was that. It was like,
Yeah.
we acknowledge that you are special, but you are not special enough.
Yeah.
It's
And
so weird.
even Obi-Wan tells him, like, you're the youngest person to ever do XXXX. Like, and before that, Obi-Wan was one of the youngest to do some of these things. We learned that in Master and Apprentice.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, like, for Obi-Wan to be impressed is also showing his development, because in The Phantom Menace, when they pick him up, he's like, it's another useless life form. He doesn't care about Anakin. And then he promises Qui-Gon he's going to train him, and then he's like, you know, it's an honor to be on the council at your age. It's never happened before. Like, so he also gets his development and shows how much he respects Anakin.
Austin,
And-
have you read Master and Apprentice?
I have not. I'm
Okay.
not a heavy reader.
Okay. You need to start listening to the audiobooks. Do you listen to podcasts and stuff?
I listen to you guys, and that's about it.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I feel bad.
Yeah, I feel like you need to do better. I also wanted to ask you if you liked the last season of the Clone Wars.
Yes,
Was
I did
it-
a lot.
Was
Did
it
you
your
like
favorite?
all of it, though?
I didn't really like the first part with the Bad Batch.
I don't think anybody liked that.
Even
that's why-
watching, like, even though I like them now, like I said, they adopted Echo.
Yeah.
I liked them for that because that's the right thing to do in that situation. But I don't like them before Echo.
And also, it didn't need to be, what was it, 3 episodes?
Yeah,
They could have done that in 1, if they had to.
They could have done it. I think you need 2.
2 would have been possible.
I do think you need 2.
But, like, it was just
That middle episode, just nothing happens.
the Techno Union
Yeah.
with Wat Tambor.
No,
and
stand up, nothing happens.
the, like, dinosaur-like droids on an axis. Like, we don't...
It's weird.
It was a lot of stuff. I get it, because it's like, it
it's
does show.
okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
but it's not good. Like, the ending is the best. That's the best way to end it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
way
100%.
better than how they tried to save it at the end of the 6th season.
And it's much better than the following arc we get before the Siege of Mandalore with the sisters and Ahsoka.
I need to see that. I didn't watch any of those episodes.
You don't need to see it.
Oh, I don't?
I mean, it's cool
Yeah,
because
it's kind of weird.
we do get a half a second cameo from Paul Bettany's character. Why am I blanking? In Solo,
Oh, Dryden
Dryden
Voss?
Voss.
Really?
in the crime syndicates.
Shut up.
It's a half a second cameo. It's the best part of the whole arc.
Yeah,
Whoa.
he's in a hollow call.
Yeah. And it's on Kessel, so that's the cool part. It's like, okay,
No
Kessel
way.
and crime syndicates, but
Huh. I would watch it just for that now.
instead of 3 episodes focusing on that, it's like that's 2 minutes of those 3 episodes. So it has a few cool things, but most of that middle arc is just like Ahsoka hanging out with normies, and those normies are so annoying.
What are
Yeah.
normies?
I'm normal people.
Oh, it
Random
was like
people.
I thought it was a term
It's
they
it's
used.
it's really kind of bad because it's a toxic relationship between an older sister and a younger sister.
Yeah.
And she kind of like abuses her power as the older sister
Yeah.
for the little sister to do things for her. And then Ahsoka comes around and it just becomes a big mess, and Ahsoka gets in a lot of trouble too. But that's what leads Ahsoka to Mandalore in the end. So it's kind of necessary.
It is. And I mean, I get it from our standpoint. We can see this. This is kind of like Mortis. Like, step outside of it, the audience can see. We understand that Coruscant's very top-heavy. The top are living large, but the bottom in 1313 are scraping by to
Sounds
survive.
familiar.
And, yeah. And we know that, obviously, but, like, Ahsoka doesn't in story. And she goes to hang out with these sisters that are barely making ends meet. And she's like, wow, the Jedi are up here living large, up in towers and, you know, castles, basically. And you guys are down here dying. And, like, they don't know she's a Jedi until the end of the series. But they're just like, yeah, the Jedi really aren't that great. They're not what people say they are. They're not what they think
Jeez.
they are. It's like, we get that as an audience. So I don't know if we need 2.5, 3 episodes hounding on it. But
I do find it very interesting that they've tried to dismantle the legacy of the Jedi.
They really have.
It's
a lot.
and I find it even more interesting because we're going to go into High Republic soon.
Well, it's gonna be the opposite.
And it's
I
gonna
feel
be
like
the
where they like
opposite.
put him
They're
on a
gonna-
pedestal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering why they do that.
Well, even George has said it, where he's like, in the prequels, that's like
They're hubris that doesn't allow
yeah,
them to
and,
see that.
and he's like,
Well,
that's
Luke
not.
says it in Last Jedi.
Yeah, and people that have, Kathleen Kennedy, I think, has even said it. They've been like, that era of the Jedi is not what we should think of when we think of Jedi. Like, that's not what we should be picturing, because that's like them doing the wrong thing, like you just said. Like Luke says, it's them at their hubris, and they make mistakes. They're blinded by their power, and I mean, they become soldiers instead of keepers of the peace. Like Mace Windu says, he's like, we're not soldiers, we're keepers of the peace. But then he ends up being a general himself.
Yeah, that's why the whole prequels just don't make any sense. It's like, well, it's not the Jedi way, and then they kill everybody.
But yeah, it does make sense because it shows they've lost their way. But
Yeah,
it
that's
shouldn't
true.
have been that
But
abrupt.
I don't feel like you need them to lose their way for what happened to happen. That's the confusing part.
That's
like
true.
Like stuff with Palpatine and him rising to power, the Jedi don't have to be a-holes for that to happen.
Yeah.
Like they can still follow what they think is that. And also, if that is the case, Yoda's the main guy to blame
Yeah.
because he passively let it happen.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, preaching, this is, the anyway. We could talk about this for an hour. But
I don't want to like keep freezing Austin out. Sorry, but like Master
Well,
and Apprentice.
I will say this
ahead.
about that though. It reminded me of this picture my older roommate showed me actually, and it applies to real life too. Because I mean, a lot of real world problems are put on the big screen. But he sent me a picture of the engine of Cyclical History, I think is how you pronounce that. It's kind of in a weird font, but it says that hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
Oh, so it's like
I
a
love that
cycle.
quote. I
So
love that
cyclical. The history of cyclical. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great quote. I
That
actually
makes
heard
sense.
that quote from Rogan a while ago.
I
He
can
was
see
talking
that.
about
Yeah.
he was talking about how soft people are right now.
Yeah. And maybe that's why we're coming down in these down times where like
Yeah.
people finally got to get figure it out.
We could talk about that on another episode too. but
Right, it's entirely
think
different.
I think these times are necessary as hard as they are.
But yeah, but like Qui-Gon even points it out in Master and Apprentice a few times. That's why him and Yoda disagree so much, because he can see Yoda losing his way, and he's like, that's not how we need to be. And that's ultimately why he, aside from being committed to Obi-Wan, that's ultimately why he turns down being on the council.
What if High Republic is setting this whole thing up? Like
It could be. I hope
you
so.
start to see like Yoda compromise
Yeah.
his
Because if
integrity.
it's at the height of their power, in
Yeah.
a good way, Yoda's involved in the High Republic. So yeah.
And he's like, you start to see him compromise the way of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Now, that is one of the good reasons for the Clone Wars being around, is it does help solidify and show Anakin's turn. More so than just, okay, his mom died, now he's evil. So, I mean, it shows
That's valid.
so many more things. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if I'm missing anything, Austin. I mean, aside from obviously Ahsoka, is there other things you think happens?
So I think there's a lot of it. So this is in my needed section of my list. I have needed, not needed, and then the weird but okay. Cad Bane at the beginning of the second season is needed because he literally blows up the Senate
I love Cad Bane.
and captures the most important senators at the time. And then the Jedi just are helpless. Like they don't know what to do. And that also, it helps set up in Anakin's mind because Padme is one of those senators that's captured. And if he and the people he follows can't save the person he loves most, like, why should he follow them when someone can teach him to keep people from dying?
Yeah.
That's one
true.
thing. The second Battle of Geonosis is important too because it also sets up the downfall of Ahsoka. Because I can't think of her name, the one that portrays her.
Yeah, Barriss Offee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her and Barriss and Ahsoka literally are tasked with destroying a droid factory on Geonosis.
You're right.
They do it, they win, and then Ahsoka saves her life from the worm that controls people's minds.
Right.
And then at the end of it, she frames
Basically.
Ahsoka.
And also, in that same arc, Barriss Offee's master, Luminara, basically tells Anakin they should give up on their Padawan because in some situation involved in that arc, Ahsoka and Barriss Offee get trapped and they can't escape in like a pile of rubble or they get buried or something. I forget what it is exactly. But Anakin's like, no, we're not giving up. Ahsoka won't give up. I don't give up. But Luminara's like, nope, we need to leave him. Like, who cares? Don't get attached. So that also does show that connection, and Anakin being like, we can't leave him. But Luminara being like, Jedi do that. We leave people.
Mm-hmm. And then, there's also Mandalore. And Mandalore is actually spread out pretty evenly across the 7 seasons.
It is.
It starts in the 2nd season, and you're introduced to Duchess Offet. And then Obi-Wan's, obviously, emotional attachment to her.
Yeah, that's so
And
good.
then a couple seasons later, you get Death Watch. And then you get Darth Maul in there. And then you finally end up with the Siege of Mandalore. So Mandalore is a very important planet. And overall, shapes a lot of what happens in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, and in Rebels.
Really every episode of Mandalore is kind of important.
Yep, I agree. I basically wrote down every single Mandalore episode involved in mine, so I definitely agree.
I haven't seen any of the Siege of Mandalore.
In Season 7? The ending of Season 7?
I've seen that. I guess
that's the Siege of Mandalore.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's the Siege, yes.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah. That stuff is great. The throne room with Maul and Ahsoka.
Yes.
That is great.
Amazing.
Maul's right. It is Austin, do you think Maul's right? Like from his point of view?
Yes, I think so, but with anyone who is on the dark side, they always have a twisted sense of what's right.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's black and white instead of nuance.
Yeah, he's right, but he's got some things wrong within that right.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
But, I mean, he's right. He's like, Palpatine didn't even tell me this plan, but I see this plan that's happening. And he's like, Skywalker is the key. And Ahsoka's like, what do you mean? And he spells it out. He's like, Skywalker's going to turn and join Palpatine, and they're going to take over. He's like, if we get rid of Skywalker, we solve everything.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question I have for someone who hasn't watched the Clone Wars as in-depth as I should. I probably should go back and watch these episodes. How does Maul come back? I know he comes back with the spider legs, and it's so strange. But does Palpatine just write him off? Like, you get bested by the Jedi, you're trash?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily the bested by the Jedi part, but he's just like, yeah, you're not my apprentice anymore. I've given up on you. Like, your usefulness with me is done.
I used you for what I needed you for. Now you're
and
done.
Maul gets that. He picks that up. He's like, I was just a pawn in his game. He says that basically word for word even. He's like, I was just a pawn. I played my part, and I'm done. But he's like, I don't want that to happen. I'm going to thrive in this chaos that's coming. I'm going to get rid of Skywalker and then take over my way.
But was him trying to get rid of Anakin? Was that him wanting to go back to be his apprentice, or was it just a way to get back at him for screwing him over?
It's him getting back. I think because he's already had that talk of, hey, no matter what, you're not going to be part of this. Yeah. So I think it's also Maul trying to prove that he's more powerful than maybe Sidious as well.
Yeah.
Does Maul use the Force at all in this show?
Oh yeah.
Is he strong in the Force?
Oh yeah.
So why wouldn't he?
Five probably.
So why wouldn't he? I don't understand. Why wouldn't he want him?
Why wouldn't he want Anakin?
Why wouldn't Palpatine want Maul?
Because he's too crazy, I think, for Palpatine. Like, he can't be controlled.
Also, I think you can have the most powerful Jedi of all time as your apprentice, or you can have an apprentice that was bested by the most powerful Jedi of all's master.
Yeah. And, yeah, I really do think, too, Maul is too chaotic, and Anakin will do whatever Palpatine says because he just wants to save Padme, whatever it takes, even if it's a lie.
Yeah.
But with Maul, he's so revenge-driven because Palpatine comes to fight him and his brother Savage Opress, and that's when Palpatine's like, I don't need you guys anymore. And then Palpatine kills Savage Opress right in front of Maul. So that, like, fuels his rage and revenge even more.
He's like the yellow-looking Dathomirian, right?
He's basically like a jacked, buff version of Maul.
Is he red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks just like Maul, but
he's a yellow. He's a more yellow color.
He is yellow. Okay.
I'm not the one to ask about this. I'm colorblind, so.
Oh, dude, speaking of colorblind, we were at Oga's tonight.
We played Sabacc.
And we played Sabacc, and I know you're colorblind.
I don't know if anybody out there has actually looked at Sabak and tried to play it, but guess what colors the cards are based on? They're based on
all red and green.
Red and green.
They're red and green. And poor Evan's sitting there trying to play this game, and it's dimly lit, and he can't see.
I mean, yeah, it's a dim lit bar, and I'm just like, I'm
rules
dim lit too. So
the rules of Sabak are you're trying to get to 0 or as close as you can,
it's like
right?
inverse blackjack.
Yeah, it's basically inverse blackjack. And so poor Evan's trying to like look at the colors
And do
he's
math, and
it was so. I felt so bad.
somehow I won 2 games though. But
Yeah, you beat me.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So, Evan, when you play Uno, do you struggle?
no, those
With
are
red
so
and
far
green?
apart.
I was having trouble too, and I'm not colorblind.
Yeah,
it was
dark.
It was
It's
tough
dark.
to see.
Yeah,
One of my roommates struggles playing Uno
I don't because
gosh.
those are so obvious
because,
too.
but yeah, he's got it bad.
But those cards are all red and all green. Sabak cards, they're like brown everything, but then they have like red and green. I don't know,
Dots.
like
Yeah.
dots. and
Dots or
hints
triangles
and
or
triangles.
squares. Yeah.
So it's like 5% red or green versus like an Uno card that's 95%. So I'm just like, it was a struggle. So Sabak they need a blue and yellow version.
They need a colorblind
or a
friendly.
white and black version or something because it's tough.
I didn't even consider that when we started playing. I was like,
Yeah,
I know
I
you're
didn't
colorblind.
either.
You've told me before, but
Yeah, I didn't either.
It was
but
just funny. Sorry, I just thought it was funny.
my pain was funny. That's good.
It is. We can laugh at you.
I did. I laughed. I was like, this is not the game for me. Really? Really? Star Wars? Come on.
You said it in your video too. You're like,
I did.
I can't play this.
Not the game for me. But like Maul is so revenge driven. I mean, that's his whole like life in Rebels is trying to get revenge on Kenobi. So like even for the Sith, it's like expand your horizons, man. There's
Yeah.
more to life than revenge. So even though
Yeah.
there is a movie called Revenge of the Sith. So I
It's
don't know.
kind of their thing. It's kind of what they do.
Yeah. Now, I don't know. It's tough to pinpoint it because when there is arcs or episodes focused around certain characters like Maul or like, specifically one clone or a couple group of clones or one Jedi, those tend, at least to me anyway, be the better side of the episodes as opposed to you just get a Jar Jar episode, which, yes, he is like a main character for that episode, but he's not a main character.
he's
or if
not.
you get General Gascon and the droids, that he's not a main character. The droids are not main characters.
Here we go. Tricky.
Fun fact: that is George Lucas's favorite story arc
I know.
with the droids
I
in
hate
that
that.
sand desert.
That is the
What?
worst thing of all time in Star Wars. The worst.
Is it worse than Wedge and
Yes.
Porkins going to the resort planet?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
It's worse than that.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Was it
That's on my not needed.
It's like 3 episodes, too, of just a little frog
No,
guy
it's
and his
4.
See, bro,
Maybe 4.
Four.
Yeah.
shit like that is why people are like, I want George Lucas to come back.
And
I'm like, no, you don't. Trust
No.
me.
Yeah.
I will say this:
Yeah.
season 5 was the worst season.
What's your favorite season?
Favorite season would probably it's the earlier ones for sure. Season 1, the only thing I say that's not needed is the Bombad Jedi. But at the time I was like probably 10 or 11, so I probably enjoyed it at the time too.
Well, it was
So,
like,
for someone who doesn't know what the hell you're talking about, what is that?
Oh, so it's Jar Jar. They a bunch of droids think Jar Jar is a Jedi.
Oh, it's this arc
he just
that you were
wears
talking about?
a cloak. Yeah, Jar Jar
Yeah, he
wears
wears a cloak.
and that's it.
Um,
and he bumbles
and
around.
Mace
So
Windu
that's
is
where those
there
like
too, I
things of
think.
him being like a Jedi or a Sith
That's
Lord.
like
and
it
that's
started as a
episode 7.
joke, but then
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
and then
so
there's another similar story arc that disappeared, which happens in season 6, and it's Mace Windu and Jar Jar practically
Okay.
trying to find Jar Jar's love.
Yeah, I forgot her name, but
He's got a girlfriend.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
What season
God.
is that? I got it wrote down. What season
That's
is
season 6, episode 8 and 9.
Oh Jesus, Lord Almighty!
that? Oh no, give me a second.
People
Yeah,
want
but
him back.
Queen Julia, right? That's her name, Queen Julia.
Yes. But season 5 also has the younglings making the lightsabers,
When they go to Ilum.
and that's like a 3 or 4 episode thing too.
And then
which
Hondo's
I just thought
involved.
it was weird. Yeah, Hondo becomes involved somehow.
That actually
General
sounds dope to me.
Grievous.
What
It's not
episodes
bad.
are that? What episodes is that? Can you write this down?
7, 8, and 9, season 5.
Season 5, 7, and 8. Okay. I want to watch that. That sounds interesting. I love it.
then
I love
also-
anything lightsaber and Force, man. I'm one of those people who for Star Wars. I love the Jedi and the Sith and the whole Force thing. That's more interesting to me than the army fighting style of the Resistance, and although I do love that as well, but to me, what makes Star Wars is the Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool, the one episode about the like finding your kyber crystal and everything,
Yeah.
but they just drag it out. It
You
literally goes from Ahsoka and Yoda are on Ilum.
Yeah.
They tell them to go into the cave. They come out. There's an episode where pirates capture their ship.
Hondo, yeah.
Yeah, Hondo. And then people revolt against Hondo, I think. And then
Yeah.
Hondo gets them back. And then General Grievous shows up.
Yeah, I vaguely remember the ending of it. It shouldn't have been 3 episodes
And,
again.
and then a bunch of younglings outbest General Grievous.
Exactly, and that's a problem I
What?
have with the Clone Wars. Is
Yeah,
they
it's
make
the same.
Grievous,
It's the same thing they're doing with with Darth Vader right now.
I agree. They just water down Grievous and water down Vader. Grievous is much more of a problem than Vader. They haven't nerfed him that much, but like Grievous, except for what he does on Dathomir, he's just like useless, and he looks like a joke the whole Clone Wars.
Well, he does kill. It's a trap boy.
Oh yeah, he does.
At the beginning.
Nadar. He
Yeah,
kills a
Nadar.
Padawan Mon Calamari, which okay, that's cool, and like that's a good episode. But after that, they don't do any favors for him until Dathomir.
There is an episode or two, I can't remember, but they just say that General Grievous has been like ambushing Jedi and killing them,
Yeah,
but they literally don't show anything.
Exactly.
And then
See, why
they
wouldn't you
set
show
up
that?
because they
sounds
don't
way
want to.
cooler.
They don't want to make Grievous cool. They want to make him lame.
Why? You have such a cool character.
Now,
and it was in the opening crawl where they had
yeah,
the guy speaking, and it was
Tom
just
Kane,
like General
the
Grievous,
voice
Tom
of war,
Kane speaking.
when he's like,
yeah,
General
Meanwhile,
Grievous is
over-
fighting the Jedi, and like, yeah,
Meanwhile, on Dathomir,
it's very cool. You should see it. I wish you
Super
could.
Friends. I wish we were showing this instead of just saying it.
Now I'm gonna back it up just a second when you talked about the Mace Windu and
I
Jar
always
Jar.
thought that was James Arnold Taylor.
No, I thought it was too, but it's Tom
not?
Kane.
Wow,
He
okay.
plays Admiral Yularen, Wolf Yularen.
yes.
Like he's one of like Anakin's main admirals, and he actually becomes Imperial too. He crosses over, and he's the voice that's in Disney now. That's like, please keep your face covering on at all times.
That's the same dude?
That's Tom Kane.
No way.
Yeah, and he does other Disney messages. He's like, thank you for visiting today. Like
That's that guy?
that's Tom Kane.
That's so cool.
So in
I didn't know
Galaxy's
that.
Edge, we get to hear Tom Kane. I'm
That's
like,
cool.
Wolf Yularen is giving the safety spiel. It's weird, but
That's cool.
so the Mace Windu and Jar Jar thing with Jar Jar's girlfriend. I'll read you my description of it, and I'll tell you, I think some of it is important, as dumb as it sounds. So let me read a little bit of it here.
I'm going to go to sleep while he reads this. No, I'm
So Mace and Jar Jar go to Bardata, which is, of course, in the Clone Wars, another neutral and peaceful Force-sensitive planet that is home to the Dogoyans. And the Dogoyans consider the Jedi to be like child-stealing kidnappers, which, yeah, they kind of do.
They definitely do.
So I
True.
get that.
Spitting facts.
Yeah. So the leaders of this species on this planet, they keep coming up missing, and Queen Julia thinks Jar Jar can help them. I don't know why she thinks Jar Jar can, but she calls up her boyfriend Jar Jar.
So wait,
and
is she from Naboo? Is she a Gungan?
she's from Bardata.
Is
No,
she a
they're not
Gungan?
Gungans.
Okay.
She is a Gungan-looking creature.
They look like, but they're not.
They're not. Okay.
Yeah. So eventually Queen Julia is their big leader, and she's kidnapped. So Jar Jar and Mace discover a Temple of Doom type situation, literally Indiana Jones, like under the city.
They let a woman be in charge? No, I'm kidding.
Aside from that, so it's like slave labor and like Kali Ma type, like Indiana Jones Temple of Doom under the city.
This sounds awful.
And like they literally are trying to like basically steal Queen Julia's heart, just like in Temple of Doom. But it's not that. This is where I think it's okay, and I like it. It's her like force sensitivity, her life force. They are draining her life force out of her. So I think that, I don't know if it's like on purpose again or intentional, but it does tie into like the sequel trilogy a little.
and it's the Night Sisters that are doing it.
Exactly, and we get
Oh, really?
a couple
Okay.
episodes later. They take. Let me fly through all these things I've got written down here. They take Queen Julia to Mother Talzin, and Mother Talzin is draining this entire force-sensitive planet and their species to use it for her dark magic. And that's the whole point of the episode, is like to save Queen Julia and the life force of herself and the planet, so the Night Sisters and Mother Talzin can't use it. And it also does, they talk about the living force as opposed to the cosmic force. So the Queen Julia and the people that live on Bardata, the Bardatans, have strong connection to the living force. And basically, the villains are trying to give the stolen Force sense and Force use to Mother Talzin, and they call her the Great Mother. And that's when we do find out, like, dark magic and like Night Sister magic is just a different use of the Force, because I think she even says it. Mother Talzin reveals that she is a natural Force wielder, and she uses the Force through the dark magic. So I think, like, at the end of it, it's okay, but like, we don't need a weird relationship with Queen Julia. We don't need the Temple of Doom stuff. We don't need, it doesn't need to be 3 episodes. Make it 1, maybe 2. But there's good stuff in it. It's just funny to me that you've said, like, the earlier episodes and seasons are some of your favorites and some of the most important. I don't have a single episode marked as important until season 4.
Dang, dude, that is so much TV to just be like, it's not important.
Yeah. I have 4, 5, 6, and 7 as important.
4 years of TV. That's so crazy. How many episodes per season? There's a lot, right? Like 30?
Fluctuates. It's around 20.
22 in every season except 6 and 7.
Yeah.
In 6, there's 12, and 7, there is 12, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Dang.
And really, season 6, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, I say, are important. And same with season 7. There's 4 out of those 12 that are important.
Well, I think there's a little bit more. You said, wait, in season 4 or 6?
Season 4, I have 1, 2, also 4 written down as important.
Okay, and then you said how many episodes in season 6?
4 as well. And
okay,
same
I
with
have
7.
I have season 6 practically in my weird but okay section.
Okay.
Because that's when they introduced the microchip Order 66 thing, which that's important. That's episode 1 through 4.
See, I think that's something that should. I mean, I haven't seen this obviously. I'm gonna watch it at some point. I'm gonna make myself sit down, but my life is just too chaotic right now. But I'm gonna do it.
That starts with Clone Trooper Tup killing a Jedi in battle, right?
Yes.
And that's when
An
Admiral
opposing
Trench,
Jedi or an accidental?
Clone Trooper Tup just like as they're marching forward towards the enemy separatists, and he just like turns around and shoots his general.
Was like a glitch in his chip or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
it's like he was
too soon.
told that.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like he was told Order 66 happening now. Go.
so interesting.
So then, like, Admiral Trench tells Count Dooku, and then Dooku tells Palpatine, and then Palpatine is like worried Order 66 could happen too soon. So
That's so interesting. I didn't know they explained any of this.
Yeah, so I don't spoilers. I don't know if you want me to keep going.
Yeah, please. 'Cause I don't have it. I mean, I'm gonna watch it eventually. But
they ship this guy back to Kamino.
by the way, spoilers for all this. By the way, because
Yeah.
if you're like mid watching Clone Wars, tune out because we probably should have said this at the beginning. But whatever.
They do end up killing Tup not on sight, but like basically there he gets killed. So his body.
So did they say because he killed a Jedi, like that they're acting like Order 66 isn't a thing?
Yeah, they have no clue what's going on. If he just was a
Yeah,
traitor.
so he in the end gets court-martialed and then
Wow.
practically put down.
Yeah.
That is
But,
so interesting. That is such a great way to explain all this. Because it does come out of nowhere in the movie. You're like, what? What is it? What? They have chips? What?
Yeah. I mean, in the movie, they never mention the word chips. But
At
just
all.
like if Palpatine says Order 66, people just snap. Their brains just snap.
Manchurian Candidate style.
Right? Like, yeah, it's like the Winter Soldier in
Yeah.
Marvel. Like, and then we do get a little bit of like Sifo Dyas involved in this arc too.
He's one of my favorite characters
I
of all
know
time.
it doesn't give you enough.
And well, he's a very important in season 6. He's almost the entire story of season.
Is he
of the sixth
really?
season. Yes.
He's a
I'm
big
gonna
chunk.
watch season 6
He's a
then
big
because
chunk.
he's one of my favorite characters because he's so mysterious to me, and I know nothing about him, and I'm worried that if I know something about him, it's going to make him less cool to me. But he's like my favorite Jedi.
Yeah, it doesn't give you too much, and it won't make him less cool. So
I
it
had a
doesn't give
theory.
enough.
I had a theory leading into episode 8 that, or maybe right after episode 7 came out, which I guess would be leading into 8.
Same.
That
yeah.
Sifo Dyas was Snoke.
That would have been so cool. You've said it before, and I love it. Like that would have been cool.
I don't know what happens to the guy, but who knows? I thought that would have been a cool way to tie in the prequels. But what?
Well, you know what happens. They mention it in Force Collector.
Dude, you know how I'm with books. I
know,
remember them
know.
immediately, and then
Yeah.
they just don't stick with me.
The Pikes shot him down. So
Oh,
you get
okay.
more of why and who told them and all that stuff in season
Sifo
6.
Dyas.
But yes, Sifo Dyas we need more of. We need more of him, and we need more of Rael Averross. Averross?
I'm hoping maybe he shows up in High Republic. Was he?
I feel like he's too young.
Was he a human?
Yeah,
Okay.
Rael and Sifo Dyas. They're
Sifo
both
Dyas.
human.
He was human.
Sifo Dyas could be Republic. Yeah, he could be High Republic.
Sifo Dyas though was friends with Dooku. I don't
Right.
think. Yeah, they grew up together. Well, they came through the the academy and the temple together.
I did know
Right.
that. Yeah.
So I think when they say the High Republic, I think it's going to be like
It's 200 years before this, so yeah.
Yoda
So it won't be
becoming
Dooku,
like
and it won't be Cypher.
I think it's going to be practically all new characters except for maybe Yoda.
Yeah.
Because I think Yoda's species is the only species that they've really introduced that lives that long, other than like the Wookiees.
Right.
Yeah, Wookiees too, yeah.
Now, like, what do you think's going on with Baby Yoda / now original Yoda being in High Republic? Is it going to be tied in to Baby Yoda being original Yoda's kid,
Clone.
his birth kid,
I'm saying
or clone,
I
or
think
what do you
clone.
think, Austin?
I honestly don't know. They could be just an undiscovered planet, or they could be just like slaves. An old planet with indigenous life that was just sold into the slave trade, and then they just got split up and eventually through work slowly killed out, and there's just a few that are left. But I mean, if you look, I know we're going to talk about this later, but in Fallen Order, you have the Zepho, and they are completely non-existent, and we don't even know why. So it could be a similar situation with Yoda's species, where just all of a sudden they up and disappeared. But you also get they get shown the Zepho.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought that too
right,
at first, and Austin actually corrected me on this too. Like the Zepho looked nothing like them.
That's right.
I was either
forgot
thinking
about that.
like that, or they could be from Bogano, but they don't look anything like the creatures from Bogano. So
yeah, so
I think
it could just be a random Yoda.
I think he's a clone, and I'm wondering if, because the cloning didn't just start, right? That's not something you would just pick up one day and know how to clone. It has to be something.
Palpatine's been doing it for decades.
Correct. So
like a century.
I think he's a clone of Yoda because Yoda's so powerful. They kind of like took his DNA, and somehow that happened, and maybe that leads into why they're cloning for the clone army.
I mean, it would tie into to the sequels how Rey is from a clone, and Palpatine himself is a clone of Palpatine. So it could tie it in and enhance everything and make it all better.
Isn't that okay? I just thought about this, and we've talked about Rise of Skywalker 20,000 times on the show. But I was under the impression that clones can't have offspring. In real life, they can't.
Oh, in real life, I don't know. But in Star Wars universe, we have evidence of it happening before.
Okay.
I mentioned it before on the show, and I forget the specifics of it. But in Clone Wars, I don't know if you'll remember, Austin, but there is a couple episode arc where they discover a clone deserter who has his own family on a farm.
It's called The Deserter.
Yeah. He has his own kids, wife on a farm. Huh. And they mentioned him, too. Where do they mentioned him recently in some media, and I was like, whoa, it's him. It's the guy from that. I forget. Yeah, it might have been a book I'm reading. It was. It's in Aftermath. They mention the planet that he's on, and I'm like, whoa, it's that guy with his family, because they're like, there's rumors of a clone trooper that did this and this on this planet, so it's possible a clone can have offspring in Star Wars. I don't know about real life.
Okay, I didn't know. That's the first time sorry, I derailed that.
No worries. That's what we're trying to figure out with Baby Yoda. So I think they're going to be involved in going to Kamino at some point.
How many seasons do you think before we get his actual lineage or his history?
We're in season 2. I'm going to say 2 or 3.
You think it might be 2?
2 or 3.
I think the end of season 2. You kind of get a hint, and I think we're left on a cliffhanger.
Well, see, season 2 for me would end great if it was Moff Gideon gets the child, and it's like, what next? How do we save the child?
But that's kind of retreading what happened in season 1, right? I mean, that was the whole arc, was he's trying to get the kid. But I guess
now he actually has got him.
He's got him pay off.
He's got him on like a Star Destroyer. And
I
you're
think
like,
it'd be more interesting to just, the first season is how he gets the kid and protects him, and the second season ends with him finding the home planet. I think that would be beautiful.
That'd be cool.
And then
the third
season's
would be,
like, well, where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends.
And then you can hop into like how the First Order came, because I don't think they're going to do anything with the First Order coming in until Baby Yoda's either gone or
they have to address that before they can address anything. But Favreau keeps promising that they're going to do it.
That's the most interesting. This time period in Star Wars is the most interesting to me.
And they've had so many chances to cover it. But they had Resistance and they didn't do it. They've had books and they didn't do it.
They didn't. That was because they were setting up 789, and I get why they didn't, because they probably weren't.
But
sure
Resistance
what
would have been perfect, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So it's
well,
like,
even in Squadrons, the video game, it takes place after, but it's still the Empire.
Yeah.
And so like there's
Give
a
us the
cutoff
transition.
point.
Give us that transition. We got to see.
I want that 6-month story. Give me a story that
Yeah.
takes place over 6 months.
Yeah.
And is when the last time the Empire is seen to the first time we see the First Order.
Right. And what happens? Something has to happen to Sloane too.
Where's Snoke?
Like, she's got to go away. Snoke's got to come in from somewhere.
I want this. This is the
Yeah.
only thing I need from Star Wars is this story. If they give me this story, anything else I get on top of it is all gravy. But I need this story.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Austin, how'd you feel about Mandalorian?
I really enjoyed it. It was one of my highlights of last year, to be honest. There's the only episode I don't think I really liked was it was kind of early.
The Tatooine
No.
episode.
He kind of just
maybe?
yes, that one
one?
was really stupid.
What about the
Nothing-
one with the
nothing
ATST?
happened. That one's okay.
I hate that episode.
Yeah,
I hate
Think about it.
That episode
it's very
is
cliche.
It's not even that. The issue I have with that episode is that they literally set up this whole 3-part arc of him being this badass bounty hunter who has a soft spot for this kid, who eventually goes
He'll
back
do
and does
anything
the
for
right
him.
thing, puts his own life at risk,
we'll never leave him.
never leave him. Like, you're staying by my side. Like, I got you. To all right, you stay on the ship. I'm gonna go hang out with this bounty hunter girl.
And
it's
then
so
you stay in this bar. I'm gonna go do this. And
It's so dumb. And Bryce Dallas Howard completely, her and who wrote the episode, you completely negated the first 3 episodes when that one moment.
They just didn't understand
Even
the
in
characters.
the trailer for season 2,
2,
he says, "Wherever he goes, I go."
he goes where I go, or something like that. Yeah,
You completely negate that,
except for
entire
that one
process.
episode or 2 episodes, because he does it on Tatooine. Also, he leaves him on the ship.
But at least he leaves him with somebody that he
Yeah.
kind of trusts and can get back to. I mean,
Yeah.
he literally just leaves a kid by himself. You know they're following you.
Yeah,
They said as much.
and at the end of the episode, who saves the child? It's not Mando. Cara Dune shoots the guy that's going to
Yeah.
shoot the child. So it's like, yeah, that episode is a little screwy. And you're right, it is 100% cliche, because it's literally a retread of something that's in millions of other form of media, but also already in Star Wars.
They had a montage.
And a montage. That's weird. But
Yo, I don't need a montage in my Star Wars.
what about the cool one, though, with the armorer? That montage is cool.
I don't need it.
Well, it's
cool,
also
though.
a flashback. It's not really a montage.
That's
it's
true.
more of a flashback.
Right.
Each time you're slowly getting more and more backstory
yeah.
of why he hates droids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Bryce Dallas Howard episode is basically, like I said, it's in other forms of media across history, but it's in Clone Wars even. They teach people how to fight off people that are ravaging their town. Like
I remember when you told me that, and I was like,
It's
that
the
is
same.
so lazy, because that's also Dave Filoni.
Yeah, right? He ripped himself off. Like, imagine that. Ugh, but, I mean, and there's so many other things in that episode that are dumb. It's like, they just dig a hole and don't cover it up, and they expect the ATST to walk in the hole.
It's so stupid.
And then they get shocked when it doesn't. They're like, oh, it didn't go in the hole. I'm like, yeah, would you?
The only moment that episode is good is when he's in the woods and you see that shot, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, the scene
it's
where they
Cara
like
Dune.
make the ATST like a monster in a
Yeah.
monster movie. They make it like Jaws or the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
It's just
That 5 minutes is great, but the rest of that episode is not so great.
that was the only episode I've watched, and I go, I don't like this episode.
Yeah.
I don't and I remember going like, remember we did Hey Mando, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like the show now, because it took a completely different tone. The first the episode that Deborah Chow did, episode 3,
Ooh.
it was that fight scene, dude. It was like watching The Dark Knight.
That hyped us up so much.
And I said that, and then I heard
Yeah.
John Favreau say that was like an inspiration for that.
Okay, I
on
can see
that
that
gallery
then.
series. But
I forgot he said that.
I said that back in when we were recording
Yeah.
those episodes the day they came out.
Yeah.
They had to have inspiration from that, because
No
there's
question.
moments where you don't see him and then he just pops out of nowhere and takes some people out. It looked.
Yeah.
I am beyond excited for season 2 of this. I cannot wait, because I think they are just gonna just blow our minds even more.
Yeah.
'Cause
Which
now-
is go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
Which is weird, because like after we've done the rewatch and our commentary over all of season 1, we were like, all right, it's good. It's not as great as we remember
It's
it.
kinda
It's kind of
slow.
it's kind of slow, but it's all right. But like now you're saying how hyped you are and excited. I
But
agree. I am too.
I think they're going in a different direction. It was like the season 1 was like a protection story.
Yeah.
And I think season 2 is going to be now, okay, what do I do with this kid?
Right.
I've saved him. We're on the run still.
Well, he
Moff
knows what
Gideon's
to
there.
do. He just doesn't know how to do it.
Exactly.
He's like, how do I find the race of like sorcerers or whatever he calls
Yeah.
them? You know, how do I find these people to deliver him to?
It's
and
so
what trail do
interesting.
I follow? Like, he's a bounty hunter,
Yeah.
but they always have their chips, their tracking chips. But it's like he's got nothing to track now. So it's taking the bounty hunter genre and idea and like changing it.
Did you see that Carl Weathers is directing an episode?
Yes, that's awesome.
I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, there's not a single bad director I feel like this season.
No.
So
They didn't bring Bryce Dallas Howard back, did they?
no.
Thank Christ. I'm just kind of sad that Deborah Chow's not doing it because
Me too.
She's doing Obi-Wan.
She's doing Obi-Wan.
But let her have Obi-Wan because I think she was the standout
yeah.
as a director on both of those episodes she did. She did 3 and 8.
Yeah.
And those are my 2 favorite episodes.
Those are great. Are you excited for Obi-Wan, Austin?
I am. What really kind of made me a little bit more intrigued too was there was something that Ewan McGregor had said on some talk show talking about like how they shot some of the scenes for Mandalorian and how he was really hoping they would do the same for him. 'Cause they use a giant like LED screen instead of
The volume,
a green
yes.
screen.
Yes, it's this massive
Now, yeah, go ahead.
sound stage that's surrounded by lifelike LED walls.
Mm-hmm.
And it not only I think it works well for the actors. It works well for the production team. The actors can have something to actually work off instead of, when he was filming the...
That's exactly what Ewan has said.
Oh,
Ewan?
really?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so like he gets something to work off of.
Yeah,
Instead
he's
of
like,
just,
it's not like
I
the
don't have to
prequels,
pretend
but
that
I
I'm
had a
looking
green
at it.
screen.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
But it makes everything easier on a production standpoint because I love audio and video editing. It's fun. But I also used before the pandemic, and I worked in IT when it was a company that we had LED walls and we would do certain content for LED walls.
Yeah.
So it's beyond fascinating because like you will get that color. You won't have to do color correction because you're filming it in the camera.
Yeah.
And it looks realistic to the point. It's the Unreal Engine that they use for video games.
Exactly.
It's completely real. You would not we didn't know watching it that it wasn't filmed on location.
Yeah, you still don't know what shots are real and what shots
It's
aren't.
insane.
And if you haven't watched it yet, Austin, go watch when you have time the gallery on the Star Wars section of Disney Plus.
It's unreal.
It's only 8 episodes, 6.
Six,
no, it's
I
8.
think.
No,
I think
it's the same amount of actual episodes of Mandalorian.
Okay.
But they break down everything. They'll talk about the volume.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right.
They'll talk about all that stuff. And
It's
Favreau
really
basically
cool.
just says,
This is the future.
Yeah, well, he says that too, but I can't believe Disney kind of let this go. He's basically like, yeah, Disney like just gave me Jungle Book and Lion King just to like play with these toys to figure it out for Star Wars. And he's like, yeah, we'll make $1 billion off it because people are going to go see Lion King. But he's like, they just gave me this to make sure I could have Star Wars be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked they let him say that, but really that's what it is. He took that technology in Jungle Book and Lion King and just put it up even higher and gave us Mandalorian.
This is the first time Disney Star Wars has pushed the technology.
Yeah,
Because Star Wars was all about pushing technology.
exactly.
In the 70s,
Even
with
in the
original
prequels,
trilogy,
yeah.
the prequels still hold up.
And the mocap on Jar Jar.
There's
Think
only
about that.
there's only one shot that I can think of off the top of my head that doesn't hold up, and
Pod
it's
racing
when
looks great.
it's just, dude, it looks incredible still.
Yeah.
The Naboo starfighter looks incredible. There's
Yeah.
one shot in Attack of the Clones where Padme's ship gets bombed. That
Yeah.
looks janky as shit.
Yeah.
But everything else completely holds up. Where if you told me that was released a year ago, I'd believe you.
Right.
It still looks insane.
One of my favorite things like you notice afterward about Star Wars is in A New Hope, the original. All those people are cardboard cutouts at the end when everybody gets their medals.
We love that. Austin and I discovered
Yes.
that together for the first time, and
But
we
you know what's
died
really
laughing.
dumb? What's really dumb? They put the cardboard cutouts closer to the camera.
Yeah, the front of the frame, the foreground, not the background, the foreground.
Well,
yes.
just think about all the matte paintings that happen for that.
Yeah,
Like
and the
all
matte
those
paintings look okay. They look good.
They still look great
But
because they're physically
these don't.
real.
They just went to like Spencer's and bought cardboard
cutouts of the
and, like,
same person.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's one of
hilarious.
those things though you don't notice unless you know.
Yeah, and same
And,
thing with the
and
Stormtrooper
Evan and
cracking
I
his head.
knew, and
Yeah.
we started laughing
Yeah.
so hard. I think some of us started crying.
we did.
Not going to say who though.
They've fixed it now for the special editions, so it's hard to find. The copies
Oh, you
we
can find
have,
it on YouTube. You can find it
Oh
on
yeah,
YouTube.
it's on YouTube. The copies we have at home though, it's on those. But like you can't really buy that copy nowadays. It's on YouTube. It's on those old copies. But
Go to, I will say, if you really want those old Star Wars videos and DVDs and cassettes and all that stuff,
we do. I have them. But
go to Goodwill.
oh yeah,
They are there. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, they're there.
definitely. Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah. Now,
We're talking about Mando. Sorry.
yeah,
what were we-
Mando and pushing technology.
Yeah,
and
so
they
this is the first time
definitely
they've-
have done that. It's the first time Disney has. You
Yeah,
said
100%. And it is. They've taken it to such a level where you just go like, how do you top this?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks so real. Like when you're watching the behind the scenes, the first time I heard about this was the Corridor Crew on YouTube.
Yeah.
They were talking about it months before this Mandalorian gallery thing came out.
Okay.
I remember saying they didn't really give details. They're like, it's called The Volume. They film in front of LED screens, and they kind of show like a video of someone sitting on a picnic bench, and then like they're in their woods, and it's like you zoom out and you can tell they're on a soundstage. But when you're in the shot of the camera,
right,
it looks like he's in the woods.
Dang,
it's weird, and it's just so cool. And I think they're gonna. The story of this season just looks so cool. There's gonna be Jedi in this season for sure. Right?
Well, Ahsoka. Well, Ahsoka's no
it's
Jedi.
Not Ahsoka.
She's no Jedi.
That's not Ahsoka.
No. That character in the hood is not in the trailer. That's not Ahsoka.
People
No.
go, I think it's Ahsoka. I'm like, I think you don't know what Ahsoka
She doesn't
looks
have
like.
the head tail. She's not a Togruta. That's not Ahsoka.
No.
Not the same color. Even me, that's colorblind. I can tell. Not Ahsoka. Like, come on. She's gonna be in it eventually. I feel like I will bet that, but
I
it's
think
not her.
if she's in it this season, it's a cliffhanger for season 3.
Do we get Ahsoka, Austin? What's your take?
I am not sure. I think that would almost kind of be oversaturating Ahsoka. Because she is in Rebels. She is almost she's in the majority of the Clone Wars.
Would it be fair to say that
right
she's
now.
the main character of Clone Wars? Is that fair to say? If you could pick one.
She's a main character.
Okay.
So here's why I think
would
they would do this.
I would still say Anakin is, though.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
Here's why I think they would put her in this. Because, yes, Star Wars fans who've watched Clone Wars and Rebels know who she is. But there are casual Star Wars fans who are eating up The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And this would be a really good way to introduce Ahsoka in a way that is palatable for casual Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
And it already is something they're already invested in.
Yeah, and then they can be like, hey, if you like this Ahsoka character, she's also in
These
Rebels
shows that are
and
also
Clone
on Disney
Wars.
Plus.
Yeah. Now, speaking of like those type fans, Austin, you've shown Mandalorian to mom and dad, and I've talked about how dad feels about Star Wars on the show. He's like, if it's not Darth Vader and Luke, it's dumb. So I think you said mom liked Mandalorian and dad was like indifferent. I don't remember exactly. What did you really take away from them?
Well, we ended up watching it because I think our satellite was out. So we threw it on the TV.
We're
just
so old
kind
school.
of
like so old school.
Satellite TV
yeah,
rocks.
So I threw it on the TV for him, and I think it was while we were remodeling their master bathroom. So our dad was very tired, so he watched like the first couple episodes and then ended up falling asleep like halfway through the third. But my mom and I ended up finishing it together, and I think she really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I don't remember what you said on telling them what was going on with Baby Yoda and Mandalorian. If they knew they weren't really Yoda and Boba Fett, or if you had to explain it. I forget what you had to say about that.
They did think it was Yoda as a baby at first, but once I said it, it kind of clicked in their minds. Like, oh yeah, obviously.
The timeline, I feel like it's obvious, but it's not. In the first episode, Grief Karga mentions it like 5 times, but then after that first episode with Grief Karga talking about it, they don't really like tell you what time period it is.
Yeah, but I don't think you need to. I think
they
once
shouldn't
you set it up that this is the Empire's fallen. Okay, well then
Yeah.
you know where this is.
Yeah.
I think I don't like being spoon-fed things.
No, but some of these fans need to be, I think.
I think they should have done a title crawl for the first episode.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like it doesn't.
I agree. I like it.
Oh,
but
I don't think I would
I don't
have
want
liked
it.
it more. I think it would have been a good way to establish where we are.
Exactly.
Because I had to go. I literally went on Twitter the day that show came out, and with Baby Yoda, people were like, "Oh my God, it's Baby Yoda," and I get that that's just what they call it now.
But some people
at the
believe
time, people thought it was Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, remember this is
Yoda's
after
been dead
episode
for like 6
6.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's after episode 6. We were like, oh, I thought it was like way before. No.
No.
No. And I remember me, and if you're listening to me on Twitter, if I'm your source of information, you got some problems.
Yeah.
But I did have to go on Twitter and clarify that for some people because I was getting asked questions about it, and I think a title crawl would have set the tone, and it would have felt like Star Wars. Like I think a lot of diehard like old school Star Wars fans need that.
Yeah, I can definitely agree, and especially the ones that don't follow timelines and don't understand. Like they get the movies when they come out. Like okay, prequels are prequels, sequels are sequels. But
all
like
they would have to do is like the Empire has fallen.
exactly
In the midst of
Somehow the emperor is dead instead of somehow he's returned.
The dead speak.
The dead die.
I think it's actually better it doesn't because
Oh,
it
I'm
helps
with you.
I agree.
I
but
agree with you. I
fans
just think
need it.
that they needed
hardcore
it.
Star Wars fans to realize the difference between yes, this is Star Wars episode whatever, but this is Mandalorian, something separate but connected.
Right.
Yeah, I
think it's a good change up.
I agree
think
with you
maybe
100%. I just think
maybe
just
they spoon
set the
feed the
tone.
information a little bit more, but I don't. I think it's also weird because then you go from episode 1, you have a crawl. Episode 2 through 8 does not. So I think it also might throw people off
That's fair.
too.
But what if they did like the Solo A Star Wars Story or the Rogue One crawl where it was just like a few sentences?
Rogue One doesn't have anything, does it? It just
doesn't it have the thing, or was it Solo that has that?
Solo has something that talks about being lawless time and hyperfuel's hard to come by and that stuff. But Rogue One
doesn't have anything. You're right.
It just
Yeah,
goes
with Solo,
"Bing," and you're like, it's like kind of
you get
jarring.
that weird
but
clip art Rogue One logo that looks terrible.
yeah,
I hate that logo.
yeah, it's not great.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The yellow one.
Yeah.
That comes. It's just.
It just
bad.
looks like a Etsy T-shirt.
It's rough.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like the movie in general.
Now
but
they should have just been like maybe once or twice every episode. You write it in well. Like I'm not a genius writer, so don't pin it on me. But just have a character be like, I heard the Empire or the Emperor died, or like since this character passed away, or since this ship fell.
dude,
you know,
it can be even smaller than that. It can
Yeah.
just be like he goes to pay for something with Imperial credits.
which they
And
did.
yeah, and it could be something that small. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to. Like, that's why I say spoon feeding.
Yeah,
Like, well, I can't do that because since Palpatine's gone, like that's shit writing. But like the credits thing works
yeah.
because it's like. Oh, by the way, I want a Mon Cala credit so bad.
Yeah, I
that's
can't
so
tell
cool.
what they're called. I don't know if they're called pucks because pucks are confusing because that's also like what bounty hunters use.
I think that's
They
just
use
for bounty
pucks.
hunters. Yeah.
So, no pucks for you. No, get out of here.
Get out of here.
That's our favorite. We love that. But
Get out of here.
the corn currency when they splash them on the table and they're like they have like a gooey substance to them.
What if they're called mandalas?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm fine with that. Well,
Instead of Mon Cala, mandala.
yeah, you're right. They're not corn currency. They're Mon Cala currency,
They're Mon
which
Cala.
the same planet, so maybe it's the same. But they should sell those at docks. They sell credits.
I
Why
know.
not? You have Spira now. You could buy.
Dude,
credits.
I have like 16 of those Spira. Those
Now,
silver ones.
Austin probably has no clue what we're talking about because Austin sadly hasn't even been to the parks since 2005.
Bro, you got to get down
So,
here. We got to go do Rise together.
Are you staying spoiler free with Galaxy's Edge? Are you excited? Do you not really care as much as we do? Do you want to be there? What's your thoughts on Galaxy's Edge?
I have been able to stay spoiler free because not that I don't care, but like when I go on YouTube, I don't necessarily think, okay, I'm gonna go look up what Rise of Resistance is.
Right. Now you've seen my Instagram pictures though, so I've spoiled you a little
Yeah,
bit.
I've seen pictures and stuff, but I have
Pictures
no
don't mean
context.
anything with that,
Yeah,
right?
I have
No,
no
you
context
good.
in what those pictures mean.
Yeah.
So like I still really have no idea
I can't
about
wait.
really anything more than what you've told me, Evan,
Yeah.
and what I've heard on the show. But that's it
Yeah.
about
I mean,
Galaxy's Edge.
and that's crazy because you haven't even done it. These don't compare at all, but you haven't even done like Expedition Everest or Flight of Passage or New Fantasyland. Like, so your best attraction you've ever
that was
done.
being built when we were there last.
That is so crazy.
The best attraction he's ever done is Walt Disney World's Haunted Mansion because he's never been to Disneyland.
Well, that's the greatest attraction ever made, so
So-
you're all set.
It's-
Rock and Roller Coaster was the first roller coaster I ever went on.
Wow.
Yeah.
And pretty sure that's the only one I've ever enjoyed.
Bro, do you realize how lucky we are to live here?
It's insane. Yeah.
Do you see why I didn't want you to move?
No, yeah. No one wants me to move. And that's why I didn't. That's why
I'm
I'm
so
here.
glad you didn't.
Yeah. Today
It's really bad
solidified
to
that.
do
Today
awk-
was amazing. Like, this makes me sound spoiled, and we are spoiled.
We are.
I only did.
But we earned that spoiledness.
Right. You have no idea,
Yeah.
literally. You have an idea.
I have a
You and
very
Austin
clear
have an idea, but no one else does. But I literally, 10 a.m. did Rock and Roller Coaster. 10:30 watched the Frozen sing-along. Thank God that's back. I love that show. I don't care how
I
that
do
makes
too.
me sound.
That show's awesome.
It's such a good show. And then I did nothing all day until Oga's at like 6, and that's all I did. That's literally
And
yeah,
you walked
and it was
around- I need to send you those pictures, by the way. Remind me to do that before you leave.
will do. And like literally, it was one of the best days I've ever had on Batu. It didn't involve Rise of the Resistance. It didn't involve Kylo Ren. It didn't involve even the Falcon. Like that's how awesome it is
Just a
just to
good day.
do what we do.
Just a good day, man.
Yeah,
Just
it's
walk around for
crazy.
a little bit.
So I'm trying to talk mom and dad into coming soon, Austin. I think you know, and I want to see their takes
Yeah.
on it because they really don't care at all. But once
because I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, once we can get you down here, I'm so intrigued to see what you do and what you think. We'll get you a lightsaber. We'll get you a droid. You can go to Oga's now. You can go into Oga. Well, you could always go into Oga's, but we can get you a drink at Oga's.
Oh yeah, you're 21 now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Youngin.
We can get trashed at Yoga's.
Happens a few times.
That Yub Nub, dude. I drank one of those and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I had to walk around for a little bit.
Now you remember Rex, not the clone Captain Rex, but you remember Captain Rex from Star Tours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know you do, Brad, but Austin.
I thought you were talking
Okay.
me. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
I was like, yes.
Yeah, well, of course we do. But I'm glad you do, Austin, because I wasn't sure. Because you saw him last when you were like a kid, so like it's
You know what's funny about Captain Rex, dude? The Star Tours Captain Rex. I don't remember that ride at all.
No?
And I was a huge.
That's one
Star
of
Wars
the
fan.
biggest like vivid memories I have of attractions.
But I was a massive Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
And I think it might have scared me.
I
Or
could
it
see
was
that.
like almost too overwhelming where I was a kid and I
too
just kind of
thrilling.
blocked it out.
Eisner would have been thrilled then. He would have been like, "Yes, Brick, you done good."
You've done really good. I'm Michael Eisner.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Michael Eisner.
Hi, I'm Michael Eisner.
That's more
This is
Harrison
a Disney
Ford.
Sunday
You
movie.
can-
No, bro, that's what he sounded like.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I've never noticed. I
Hi,
guess
I'm
in the
Michael
hello,
Eisner.
I'm Michael Eisner.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner,
All right, yeah, that's
and this is the Disney Sunday movie.
now. What was I gonna say?
Here's Kermit the Frog.
I'll stand by it. That's better than the Star Tours we have now. I feel like that's an unpopular opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember, so I can't really say. How about that?
Man, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I love the Star Tours we have now,
I love it too.
and I didn't like it until I didn't like it because it made no sense. Like you're on Naboo, and then you go to Hoth. Like it never made sense
You
for
can
me.
witness the Battle of Hoth at the same time of witnessing like the Battle of Exegol. It's like
Yeah,
how?
it's strange.
But
But the way they do
The original
it now,
Star Tours didn't make sense either.
I don't remember it. I remember those.
was
I remember icicles being on the screen.
Well, that was when you went through a comet.
Okay,
Comet.
That's the only thing I remember.
I can't do a Paul Rubens, but he's like comets. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
do you
all I
remember
remember.
that, Austin, at all?
Yeah. I enjoyed Star Tours, but it's one of those things where I felt like I could do it once or twice and I'd be good on doing it.
Okay, I can see that. It's different
I think
now.
it's just because, I think this is because there's no real like interaction. Because I'm more of a hands-on person. So like, Mission Space, which I was too young to go on, I wish I could have gone on.
Oh,
And the same thing
you're
with.
gonna regret that sentence.
See, if you would have done it, you
Just-
would have loved it as a kid. Because I loved it as a
Yeah.
kid, but now I'm indifferent. But I love Mission Space when I was like a teenager.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I just get nauseous now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so that's like a similar thing with the Falcon. I think I would really enjoy the Falcon just because like you actually get to do something.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
can see that.
so you feel like you're actually doing it rather than like you're sitting and watching a movie, almost an interactive movie.
Right.
But I do have most of my fond memories are on Star Tours and on Rock and Roller Coaster,
That's
and
so
then
funny.
also Astro Orbiter.
I love
so
Astro
funny.
Orbiter.
I do too. I don't do it enough.
It's just because that line is so long.
I haven't done it in like 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
bad.
I
I
love
need to
it.
do it again.
love
Tuesday
it.
I'll do it when I go. I got to do it on
You
Tuesday.
going Tuesday?
Yeah.
You going
So I
solo?
gotta- Yeah. Well, yeah. Doing the thing. Making
Oh,
some
that's
bank,
right. That's right. That's right.
making some
Okay.
coin. Some
Sorry.
credits.
Yeah, we'll do it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I love that ride.
Now, I went like a decade between doing it once, and I forgot how tiny the ships were. And let me finish the story before you guys judge me. Thankfully, we figured it out. But we get up there to the ship, and both of us grown adults try to get in. Both dudes, grown adults, try to get into one rocket.
What?
It's not possible.
Were you on a date with a dude?
No, it was just my best friend Jimmy. We didn't realize how tiny these ships were.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
like,
bro. I can barely fit
we
in
turned to
one.
the cast member like, never mind, this isn't gonna work. And he's like, okay, you sit in this one, you sit in this one. I was like, thank you.
Hey,
They're
his
so
balls
tiny.
are on my shoulder.
Yeah,
can I
it
get
would
another,
not
can I
have
get my own
worked.
rocket, please?
We forgot how tiny they were because I hadn't done them. I hadn't done it since. Didn't it? I don't know.
I hadn't done it since.
I hadn't done it since
You're-
I was
you're
about
becoming
a
a
year
Florida
of
man.
corn.
I
Yeah.
ain't done it since
Florida man
since
accused
Dale
of.
Jr. died on that track. I
Right.
ain't done it since.
Well, here's the
Dale.
thing,
Or
Evan.
Dale,
I don't
whatever.
think you and I, the last time we went, could fit in the same rocket.
We couldn't then.
I don't think we could because I remember going with Mom,
Yeah.
and I think you ended up doing it by yourself,
Yeah.
which was kind of weird because I don't think Mom wanted to, but she set it up because I wanted to.
Right.
Austin, what's your favorite Disney World attraction that you remember?
I only remember one, and I remember it being a good time. But everyone else told me that I was miserable the whole time.
That's trip-wise, like out of the trips you've been on.
I do remember before we left saying I didn't want to go and throwing a fit, but I always remember getting there and enjoying it.
What's your favorite attraction?
I really like the Buzz laser game.
Nice, okay.
Space Ranger spin.
I've only maxed out twice on it, so maybe we
That's
can
it?
teach you how to
Really?
max out. Yeah.
I just did a
think-
YouTube video on it.
Yeah, didn't you try to max out both at the same time, or is that something Evan posted?
No,
that wasn't me. I've never
I think
tried
it was
that.
me.
Yeah.
I've tried it and I got close, but not
Nice.
super.
I haven't tried
close.
that because I haven't mastered doing one yet. I've only done it twice, so I
I
need
wrote
to
it
get
4 times in a row a few weeks
Whoa.
ago to get video footage that I needed.
yeah.
And
It's tough.
The
It's
people were looking at me
blurry,
like,
they're moving.
Why
Why is this grown adult
grown-ass
back?
man coming and riding this ride by himself?
Did you
with
collect a
headphones
sticker
in?
every time that you did, like a Galactic
I don't
Hero
know if they're-
sticker?
I don't know if they're doing that.
Oh, probably
right
not.
now.
Probably not. I forgot the second time, so I only have one sticker.
I've never gotten the sticker. I don't
You
think.
gotta go get the sticker, bro.
I know. How do you prove it? You take a picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just like, "Do you have a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I do.
Of course.
I'm gonna post this all over the internet."
I'm an American hero.
Yeah, a galactic hero.
I'm a galactic hero.
Yeah,
What if it said American hero? it
make America great again.
was just a MAGA sticker.
That'd be great. That'd not happen at Disney. It's the
God.
last place you're gonna find that.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
We got to get you back down here for that and many other reasons, Austin. But
Yes,
So, Austin,
I agree.
we'll wrap this up in just a moment, but I want to know, give me your top 5 must-see episodes of the Clone Wars.
5 is tough, I think.
Can I do an arc as one?
Yeah, that's fine.
That counts.
Okay, so the Ryloth arc is really good.
Ooh, Evan's throwing some shade at you. You can't
It's
see
not
him.
bad. It's all right.
It has a similar feel to the Mandalorian a little bit because there are 2 clones that are separated from the rest of their group, and they encounter a little girl, and then they have to destroy all the droids in front of them while also protecting the girl and finding that girl's parents.
That's
So it
early on,
shows
right?
this-
That's like season
Yeah, that is
1.
season 1.
One.
That
Okay.
is season 1.
It's got some good Obi-Wan
Season
stuff.
1. What are the episode numbers? Because
It's-
I'm gonna watch
it's
every episode you say on here. I'm gonna go watch these.
I think it's the last 3 episodes.
Okay.
Or last 2. There's last 2 or 3. Then the Umbara arc, that is 3 episodes. And that's also another clone-centered arc about Rex.
I like that one, though. I agree. That's when...
What season? What episodes? If you have them off top. If you don't know, that's fine.
Season 4, episode 8, 9, and 10.
Okay. I'm gonna watch these. I'm gonna start watching them tonight. Actually.
That's a good one. That's
These
the
are
one
these are just 5 good ones, not in any
Yeah.
order.
Okay.
Okay.
The Umbara one is probably my favorite.
Okay.
I will say that one. An interesting one is Padawan Lost and Wookiee Hunt. It's it's part of my weird but okay. It's season 2, episode 21 and 22. They practically rip off the Predator.
And the most
Really?
dangerous game. It's the most dangerous game. You know, like
really?
the classic
Yeah.
story.
You're
Yeah,
hunting.
It's
and
that.
they introduce you to a younger Chewbacca.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
I've
literally
seen this.
Chewie's in it. Chewie's in it for
Yes.
sure. Trandoshans are in it. Chewie's
Does
in
that
it.
contradict anything we see with Solo?
No. It's
Okay.
well before Solo.
Okay.
Obviously. Yeah. It doesn't at all. It's not bad. It's an
But
entertaining
is it
arc.
so? This takes place all during the Clone
The
Wars.
3-year
though.
span of the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars themselves in universe take place over 3 years.
Okay. But how young is Chewie?
Well, he's 90 in Solo, so he's probably 75, 80.
But is he like a baby?
No.
No, he's still tall, but
Okay.
he's just a little skinnier.
Yeah.
He's a little bit skinnier.
Okay.
Looking.
He basically does look like he does in Solo, like in the mud pit. He
Really?
looks
Okay.
Basically like that
I love that movie.
on Mimban.
The more I
Yeah.
watch that, I just think it's just so fun.
Yeah.
That movie should have gotten just done. It should have done better. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm looking back now at all the episodes. So those two arcs are really good. I really wish I could tell you what episode it was that Grievous was hunting down the Jedi and killing them successfully. That they actually don't show it, because that's a decent episode as well.
I forget what happened in that episode after they mentioned Grievous. I forget.
I'm gonna look it up.
See, like, the Umbara arc is pretty good too, though. I agree, because that's got Jedi Master Pong Krell. He takes over for Anakin, so it's Rex's like battalion, usually led by Anakin. So Anakin has to go back to Coruscant, and that's when Krell takes over. And Rex is like, I don't know how you do this, General, or how you do things, General, but we do it like this. And Krell's like, no, we do it my way. I don't care what Anakin does. I don't care what you do. We do it my way. So there's already tension between them. And then as the episodes go on, we find out what's going on with Krell, and then we find out what his plan is, and it's actually pretty messed up. It's what happens to the clones. It's actually kind of dark. And I was
Really?
like, whoa, yeah. It's pretty. I've told you and spoiled a lot, but this is something that's cool to like process as it happens, and you're like, oh, like really? They're
Write it down. I want to
I got
watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Because when it happened,
see it.
I was like, oh wow, he's making them do that. That's pretty dark. And then eventually karma comes back to him.
Sweet. I'm excited.
It's a fun one. I forget the race, but he's Dexter Jetster.
Oh, okay.
It's that race of alien
Okay.
as a Jedi general.
A Dinerian?
Is that what they're called?
No, I just said diner. 'cause
Diner.
It's a diner.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
What do you know?
What do you know?
This is one of those Camino darts.
It's a Camino dart from, I forget what he says.
Yeah, dude.
That's the only good part of
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones is Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. Someone to see you, honey. Jedi by the looks of him.
Star Tours, Cap.
Yeah, she's in there. The droid.
Did
from
you know
Star
that's
Tours.
the voice of the chick from Mom?
No.
Do you watch the show Mom?
Uh-uh.
Are you aware of it?
No.
It's on like Fox or something.
Is there a spinoff called Dad and Son?
There was,
and
actually.
brother and
Sisters
sister,
and it's sister-ish and
sister-ish and grown-ish.
Grownish.
Those
Step-sister-ish,
titles.
that's a-
How are those
that's a whole
titles not
different-
offensive? How are they not? Blackish? Isn't there another one that's like Asian-ish or something? I feel like
There's
there is,
one
right?
called Off the Boat
Right? How are these titles not offensive?
because they're made by Asian people.
I guess I'm so confused.
But,
I
okay.
don't life. I don't know how to life.
People always say that's like a cop-out thing, but if someone called Austin a name, you'd be like, yo, you can't say that. But you could say it because it's your brother.
Yeah,
Same kind of mentality, I guess.
it's like when you call somebody a nerf herder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't use that
Scruffy-looking
term.
Nerf herder.
Only we can use that term.
Who's scruffy looking? Austin, while you're looking for this, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
See, I think it's
Gotta
really
pick one.
complicated answer.
You got to pick one. And the one you pick is the only one you can never watch ever again. The rest of them disappear.
Okay.
So you gotta-
That really changes my mind. I'd say Revenge of the Sith.
Oh Jesus! Really?
Yes. However, I believe that The Rise of Skywalker is the greatest Star Wars movie to watch one time.
Okay, I didn't know where you were going with that. I've never heard you say that.
I don't disagree with you.
That's a great take. I've never heard you
If
say
you
that.
don't dissect it too much, you're like, this is great.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know where you were going with that
because-
sentence, and I didn't expect it, but I like it.
A lot of it's because the emotional toll you take. Like you think Chewie dies,
Yeah.
right? You find out he doesn't. You think C-3PO is going to die. He doesn't. Leia does die. Then you think Rey's going to die. And then someone else dies instead.
But then
You know,
Ben
like
dies.
there's just so much like emotion built up, and like I went back to watch it with one of my best friends from last year, and I fell asleep during the movie. The first movie I've ever fallen asleep in.
You're getting old. You're getting old, man.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not necessarily a knock on the
It
movie. I
depends
think
when you
just-
watch it. Like,
you're just
yeah,
old,
yeah.
bro.
I've done that before, where I've watched a movie at like 2 a.m. as
I
I'm
fell
falling
asleep during
like-
Empire once.
Yeah, so like, it's possible. It's doable.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's
That's
a good or bad
really
movie.
good way to put it, though. Like,
Yeah, I've
best
never
movie
thought
to
about that.
watch once.
The greatest Star Wars film to watch once.
I remember looking at Holly, my girlfriend, when Chewie died, because my daughter is obsessed with Chewie. That's like the one Star Wars character she loves. She's scared of, well, not scared. She's coming around, but she did not like mascot characters for a long time. We had to kind of ease her into it. But for whatever reason, man, Chewie she's just always loved. It was always there.
He's so
She'd run up and
loyal.
hug
He's
him.
so,
and
like,
he's just
yeah,
he's
and-
like a giant dog or something. Like
yeah,
he's
George
perfect.
Lucas's dog, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Indiana Jones named after his dog Indiana?
Yeah.
Thought so.
Well, no, yeah. Even in universe, Indiana's name is Henry, but his nickname Indiana comes from the dog. So
Yeah.
So update.
Henry?
I cannot find the episode where General Grievous is just ambushing Jedi. I found a clip from the episode on YouTube, and it says it's from season 5. I'm looking through season 5 right now, and there's nothing with Grievous in it.
Send me
So-
if you can do me a favor. Just send me the clip.
Okay.
Just text me a link, and I'll watch it there.
Okay. That would be in my top 5 episodes because it actually kind of it shows a little bit of what Grievous can do, but it's just also like there's also that aspect of like somehow they know we're alone, and then they're just ambushing the Jedi
Gotcha.
when they're like undermanned.
All right, we have 2 more, I think. Was that the last one?
Yes. So that was the third one.
Okay.
I can't really argue for the most part. Like I'm not too sold on the Ryloth arc, but I do get it. There are some good points. Obi-Wan's pretty good in that. The clones are good. Definitely agree on Umbara. The most dangerous game ripoff. It's entertaining. It's got Chewie.
Mm-hmm.
It's got good Ahsoka stuff.
Well, there's a reason that story works is because it works.
it's a classic story.
Classic story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the
So
same.
it's entertaining and it makes you think a little. It's good. I agree.
And then I would say the Deception arc when so season 4 episode 15 through 18, that's like a mistrust arc for Anakin.
Oh no! Is that no? Is that the one where Obi-Wan dies, but he doesn't?
No.
die?
I'm saying so like these are like the 5 things like if you want to like get almost the entire Clone Wars in like 5 little like groups, this is it.
Okay. So
Wait, Obi-Wan
Yeah.
dies, but then he doesn't.
yeah, that's
Just let
what
him
I'm thinking
let
of,
him
right?
experience it.
Hey,
Yes,
I'm gonna
it's
say
that
something
one.
controversial. Yo, that's gay.
Yeah. But that right? That's the one I'm talking about, right? Where he goes with all the bounty hunters. Cad Bane's in it. Cad Bane's good.
I
Yes.
love. I have a Cad Bane Funko Pop somewhere. I
so-
love Cad Bane.
So the first like 30 seconds of the episode, Obi-Wan gets shot.
Who does
like,
Cad Bane's voice?
That's a good question. Is it
He's
James?
got such a weird
I think
voice.
it's James. It's super modulated, but I think it's James
Yeah.
Arnold Taylor. I think.
Really?
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But like this
I mean,
arc.
yeah, it's definitely
opens-
modulated, but like it's just a cool ass Star Wars voice.
Yeah.
It just fits. I wish he wasn't blue.
He's
but
a
other than
Duros,
that-
though. It's a good species to use, is Duros, because like we get a brief shot of them in the cantina on Mos Eisley, and that's it.
Do we really?
Yeah, they're those 2 giant alien-looking guys from like Area 51.
Really?
We get like just a panning shot, and they're talking to each other.
I need to rewatch, man. I haven't watched the original trilogy in a while.
But I get it though. This arc,
And by a
yeah,
while, I mean like 4 weeks.
it was in theaters recently, but I get it though. This arc does show how the lengths the council is willing to go to lie to Anakin. They basically fake the death of his best friend, and then at the end of it, they're like, "Yeah, we lied. He's not dead." So
That's
it is
so
pretty messed
shitty.
up. Yeah, I get that. I never thought about it that way. It's just the things that happen in between. I'm like, okay, this is dumb. We don't need it. But it does really show the lengths they will go to really screw with Anakin.
Messed up. He's the chosen one. Did you see the picture? This is completely off topic. But did you see the picture that the Star Wars Instagram account posted today?
No.
How many likes it got? Oh my god! It was like the chosen one and our queen, and it was a picture of Hayden Christensen and
Oh, okay. I
And,
did see that
Padme.
then. Everyone I know like shared it
Yeah,
on their
from-
story. I just
yeah.
didn't know it was from Star Wars.
it was from the Star Wars account. And I was like,
It's not even a good picture.
but
Like,
I was
a-
like, it's like a promotional thing.
do you remember
that
those like
didn't-
Walmart photo booths they would have?
Yeah, or it looks like a poster you would buy from like Pizza Hut.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I was
Back
like,
in
it's
the
not
day.
even a good picture. And everyone was like, I love this. This is the best. I'm like, okay.
The best prequel poster, in my opinion, I had it on my wall as a kid, and it was, I think I've said it on the show before, it was the one of, what's really young Anakin's name?
Lloyd? Jake Lloyd?
Jake Lloyd. It's Jake Lloyd Anakin walking
shadow
on,
behind him?
on Tatooine, and the shadow is Vader.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
It is one of the greatest posters in the history of the world.
Yeah.
It is just because it's like you get what the entire the entire trilogy is going to be in that one image
His
because it's a
dark
kid
side taking him
on
over.
Tatooine,
Yeah.
and it's him walking, and he's got like a backpack on his shoulder, and he's looking down, and it's just his shadow is Vader, and it's just like, whoa! I remember as a kid, I was like, I'm getting chills thinking about it, man.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it is
spoofed
a
all the time now.
freaking
Like
awesome poster.
every movie poster has something like that now.
But that was the original. Dude,
Yeah.
if I could find that poster, I would buy it and put it in.
I mean,
here.
it's not exactly.
You know
but
what?
even, like,
I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm gonna go on eBay and I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck what it costs. I'm gonna buy it.
Wow.
And I want to put it
bold.
right here because I love that poster.
I mean, even like your Vader Immortal is something similar, where it's like a shadow
Yeah.
with a picture inside it. Like everything is that nowadays, where it's like,
But that was the original,
a
bro.
dark,
That thing
edgy
was so
shadow.
sick, and I bought it
Yeah.
at Walmart for like $6.
yeah, where's it at?
It's so
You
dope.
don't have to
I
buy it on
probably-
eBay. You still have it.
It probably got just messed up. My mom, like this is such a weird thing, but my mom, when I was like a teenager, she would like make me take things out of my room because my grandparents, when they would come to visit, they were so religious. Like I had a Led Zeppelin "Stairway to Heaven" poster that had like the lyrics on it. She's like, "You gotta take that
Yeah.
down."
Wow.
So it probably got taken down and never got put back up.
Dang.
Not to interrupt, but I have found my final selection.
You're why we're here. We were filibustering, so please.
I didn't even realize it, but
That's
Season
what I was doing,
5.
bro. I'm good at this. Come on,
season
man.
5? Yeah, you are.
Season 5, episode 14, 15, and 16. That is the re-emergence of Maul
Oh yeah.
after Obi-Wan defeats them and escapes. And that also might be like some of the best 3 episodes
Okay.
up to like before season 7.
Okay. I'm gonna watch. Dude, I'm gonna start watching these tonight. No bullshit.
14,
I'm gonna go
15,
watch them.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
I would definitely watch that last. I would try
okay.
to watch them in order of the seasons, how I gave them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, I would say, the best 3 like that you guys would also enjoy as well. Like
Sweet.
it's got
Yeah.
the action,
I
it's
agree.
got the story, and
It's
it's
got
also
Satine.
got a lot of emotion.
Yep. That stuff kills me.
Sweet. Well, man, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show and filling me in on some things. Like you. I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. You literally changed my mind about the Mortis arc.
Well, there's still some stupid things that we didn't get to, which probably is better. But I
mean,
appreciate
hey,
you
I
guys
got
having
nothing
me
to do. We can get to them if you want.
on. It's just a couple weird things.
Let's
Just-
talk about it. I don't need to go
Okay.
anywhere. Let's talk about it.
So there's in season 2, there's 2 things that are like can't be cut with lightsabers.
What?
They introduce them, and that's it. In the second Battle of Geonosis,
Vibranium.
they introduce these. They introduce like these tanks and droids that can't be like destroyed practically. Like they're almost indestructible unless you blow them up from the inside. And then also later in that same season, they introduced the Xylo Beast,
I like the Zillow
which
Beast.
is this giant monster that is practically also impossible to kill unless
I
you
like that,
poison
though.
it.
That shows because Palpatine wants to take it for like kind of cloning, but also kind of research. And they called it Zilla Beast because it's like Godzilla. It was like their inspiration, their ripoff. But
Does it look like Godzilla?
No, it's like it's got like
it's
5 arms,
really
and
long.
it's
Yeah,
like a
really
snake
long
with, like,
arms, really long neck,
Yeah,
a really weird looking body.
yeah. But it's not in the Rise of Kylo Ren comics, but it's in the Age of Resistance Kylo Ren. You've read that, right?
Uh-huh,
know
I
you
have it, yeah.
Kylo kills it. It's that planet's like God. They're worshiping this thing, and he kills it, and he's like, "Who's your god now?" He's like, "Who just killed your god?"
Yeah, I remember that.
That's the Zillo Beast.
Oh, okay.
So we all thought, and at the time in the Clone Wars, they thought that was the last Zillo Beast.
So just kind of flexing on how powerful Kylo Ren
Well,
is.
Palpatine ends up cloning it. So,
Exactly. Yep. So it ties into the cloning. I
Damn
like
you,
the Zillo
cloning.
Beast. I like the Zillo
Yeah.
Beast stuff.
And then there's Clovis Rush. I
I
think
hate
is his
that.
last name.
He's dumb.
He's just a problem for
Yep.
Padme and Anakin's relationship. He's early in the series, like in the early seasons, and then he pops up at the end.
Yeah.
And he does the exact same thing in both little arcs. He
Yeah.
thinks like he is doing the right thing, and then he gets betrayed. And then he does the exact same thing later on, while also pissing Anakin off.
Well, he like works with the banking clan. Like, how exciting is that?
Oh,
The
that sounds
banking clan.
that sounds just as fun as the Trade Federation.
Yeah. And
Oh, I
it's-
can't
yeah,
wait.
Every
Hey,
time
kids, banking and trade.
every time he shows
Tariffs.
up, it's just like, oh, Anakin thinks Padme's cheating on him with Clovis. Like every time, it's like that's the whole arc.
and then Clovis calls Anakin out, saying that maybe Padme has feelings for someone else other than him, and then
Yeah.
he almost kills him.
Yeah, Anakin beats the heck out of him.
Really?
He pummels him.
Yeah.
Yo, Anakin's like that dangerous boyfriend that like you have a friend of. You're like, hey, you probably should leave that guy.
Yeah.
Then they get married, and you're like, all right, I guess I'll go to the wedding.
It's like, I kind of have to. He's going to come and kill me if I don't.
I'm not showing up. I'm not putting down an RSVP.
But yeah, those are the two weirdest things for me. Like how they just kind of magically like make these things appear that like, yeah, this is kind of important. Like, yeah, if you want to make droids, obsolete to being destroyed, yeah, let's just keep making it out of this material. But they literally destroy some tanks. They blow up a droid facility, and then it's never spoke of again.
I even forget all about that, so that I might have to go rewatch.
Yeah, that's season 2 right at the beginning with Ahsoka on Geonosis.
Okay. I'll look that up then. Because I remember most of it, but the things that I thought was bad and stupid and dumb, I just blanked out of my mind. And that must have been one of them.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it before, like when I would talk to Evan about this, I would say like 90% of Star Wars, the Clone Wars was really good. But when I was looking back today, I found myself thinking, there's some stupid things now. But like, I still think all the episodes like I didn't bring up are good. It's just there are some really important ones, and there's more important ones than there are bad ones.
Gotcha. Well, dude, man, like I said before, when we were about to wrap up, we're gonna wrap up now. You literally changed my mind on the Mortis arc. It's like, yeah, it is kind of like almost like narcissistic to be like, yeah, well, I know this, but the character is learning this, so you kind of have to go with the story of what the character is going through in that moment.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you coming on. You have an open invitation to come on the show whenever you want to come and give your opinion, because you're very well spoken, and I like having you on. And you're family, dude, literally. So anytime you want to come on, you are more than welcome. Where can the good people find you on the internet if they want to get in touch with you and follow you after listening to you spit some knowledge about the Clone Wars?
Well, if anyone wants to ever DM me, that I don't think my Twitter is private, so you can just reach out to me on Twitter. Let me pull it up real quick. I changed it a couple years ago, so I'm not too sure what my username is. It's at Austin Boucher and then the number 44.
Beautiful.
So
Evan,
Austin Boucher 44.
Evan, your brother's dope.
He is.
I'm mad I've replaced you with him. I'm just saying that going forward. No.
It happens.
No, definitely not.
It's a circle of life.
I love you. I loved you first, but I love Austin too.
Well, I mean, Evan did help raise me, so it makes sense.
It's fair. Evan, where can they people? I had a stroke halfway through that sentence. Where can the good people find you if they want to get in contact with you on the internet?
Oh, just everywhere except TikTok, I guess, at Evan T. Boucher. So, yeah, look for today's a long vlog, and it's all over the place. It's all over studios, going to Place de Bach, a little bit in my new apartment. Like, I'm not.
I was gonna ask if you showed that.
Yeah, I'm not giving away my address or anything stupid, but like, yeah, my apartment's in there.
Dude, I'm so excited how close you live to me.
It's awesome.
Dude, it's so.
We're neighbors, bro.
Austin, he can see my apartment from his patio.
Yeah.
Really?
It's so exciting. I'm so happy that he's right. Like, so today when I was leaving, I called Holly as I was walking out of your apartment complex. Walking in, getting in the car, driving from door to door was 2.5 minutes.
It's crazy. It's just one light. So if you hit that light green, it's probably like a minute.
Not even.
But if you hit it red, it's like 2 minutes.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited that you live right here.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I've kind of fallen off Twitter, but I'm still out there. I don't tweet as often.
You're on Instagram more.
Evan T. Boucher. I'm going too ham on Instagram. That should be a hashtag.
You're
ham on Instagram.
Going too ham on Instagram.
But,
too ham on the gram.
Too ham on the gram. Featuring DeMarcus Landspeeder.
Too ham on the gram,
but
baby.
I posted another picture today from Batuu, but yeah, it's mainly Batuu, but occasionally other Walt Disney World stuff.
The Batuu boys are back. The Batuu boys.
YouTube's crazy, like I said today. It's going to be a long, random, crazy vlog, but it is what it is. It's my vlog. Deal with it.
Yeah. You can find me over on Twitter at Wait, what is it? It's Twitter. Jedi Talk Podcast.
It's Twitter.
On Instagram, Florida Fun Brad. There's a reason they're two different things, but that's fine. If you listen to this episode, but you haven't listened to the previous episode, please listen to that episode. The American treasure Jim Hill was on the podcast.
We're just having guests on guests, man.
Dude,
so many good guests.
We got more stuff coming. I got more stuff. I got more stuff planned.
We do.
I want to keep this podcast trying to do it 2 times a week. I'm gonna do my best to do that. It's gonna be a lot easier now with how close you live,
right?
And I'm just very busy.
It happens.
And
it's life.
I'm not quite ready to divulge information of where you can find me for all the other stuff that I've been doing.
Right.
I'm not there yet. I don't want to do that yet. But just know that even if I'm not doing the show and it's not coming out the way it used to come out, I'm thinking about you guys, and I'm always planning for the show to be as good as it can possibly be. So I personally would rather do 1 really good show a week versus 2 mediocre shows a week.
And I mean, we're never like hurting for content, but Mandalorian's coming.
No, yeah,
we're gonna have so much content to cover. We'll be okay.
I don't know if you want to commit to this, and I'm really not. You can say you don't want to answer, but if I'm thinking maybe we do what we did last year with the Mandalorian, watch it at 3 a.m. and then do a podcast that day.
I'm gonna be up most of those nights anyway. I'm gonna be close anyway. Yeah.
So we'll do Hey Mando that day. We'll figure it all out. But Hey Mando season 2 is coming as soon as Mandalorian
Too
episode.
Fast, Too Mando.
I can't wait. That's a great name for season 2.
Yeah.
Too Fast, Too Mando. I like it.
Not bad.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. That's it. You can go listen to the episodes, rate and review the show on iTunes, subscribe to YouTube, all that fun stuff.
I'm gonna give Austin the honor of closing, so he can take my line. So you go ahead whenever you close, Austin. You take over for me.
I forgot what I say.
Well,
what do I say?
I would like to say my own line.
Oh yeah. So I usually end the show by saying, "May the Force be with you," and then Evan would say always. But I'm gonna still say what I say because it feels right.
So if you got a new line, then I'll say what I say, right? Or do you want to negate me?
Well, my whole thing is, you have 2 Midwest people. This concludes our Midwest goodbye. Because Midwest goodbyes are always like, all right, bye, see you later, and then you keep talking.
Yeah.
And then, bye, all right.
That's our podcast. Sure this time. That's what we do anyway.
Right now, we're going to turn around and walk away on the count of 3. All right, ready, go. Okay.
Fair enough.
Fair.
That's our podcast anyway.
That's kind of the Southern too. It's like, all right, well, I'll see you later, and then like,
oh, by the way,
you talk for 40 minutes after that.
Yeah.
But that just means you're in good company.
Exactly. We don't want to leave.
Yes.
Exactly. All right, and guys, have a good night. Austin, have a good night. Go out there and crush them sports, I guess. Get a goal for the team.
Do them sports.
Do that stuff. Get a goal point. Is it a basket? Yeah, score all the baskets. I wear Adidas.
Will do. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Anytime, brother. For real, I mean it. Anytime you want to come on, you are more than welcome. Until then, we'll see you guys next time. May the Force be with you.
Always.